Testing, testing, testing. Everybody, we are live now, talking with Chef Loni. We had so much. Hey, Chef.
Hey, cuz I gotta call you cuz still. I know it's an interview, but
family stays the same regardless whether it's interview or not. Stay the
exactly.
Same. And I hear my little niece back there, and Ice is back there in the back.
Yeah, they going. I'm making sure, look, that they don't get into, look, the neighbor's dog's going, they going.
I know, little Ices. Hey, this is Regina, and I'm here with The Simple Truth with Radio Live, where we tell you the simple truth. We are interviewing people to find out how they started great businesses and books and authors and everything. Simple people like yourself with big dreams and big goals and things that they're doing that is going to absolutely be bigger than they are now. We're kind of catching everybody in their first phases so that when they get on those huger platforms, they'll remember us. Like
exactly.
And bring us along. Today, I'm so excited to have my cousin and author, chef, Chef Loni.
Yay!
Let me tell you, I have been waiting, and we're going to be calling each other cousin because that's what we do. We are cousins.
Yes.
So we're going to be saying cousins for those of you who are joining in. Are like, what are they talking? She is my real cousin, blood cousin.
Yes.
Not ethnicity cousin. She's real blood cousin. And we're talking to you today. Loni, I have been waiting to have you on the show, and thank you because I know your weekends are super busy, so Saturdays did not work for you. So we made it work for you today on a weekday because you're a chef and weekends are your busiest days, correct?
Yes, they are. Yes.
And so I wanted to have you on the show because you are somebody who has inspired so many people in so many ways. Besides you being a great chef, you are an author of a book, The SIP Plan.
Yes.
Let's tell you. And this outer, if you can't really tell, here's Loni here. But this was you before, the outer size of this.
Yes.
Loni has written this book to let people know the weight loss journey that you did on your own. You lost over 200 pounds.
Yes, ma'am.
You did it.
Yes.
No medicine, no pills, no surgery. Tell us about how this started. How much weight were you? What was your highest weight?
That I can remember, I want to say I weighed in at about almost close to 380 pounds at one point.
Wow.
Yes. 80. And I remember my mother saying, and I thought about it, but I didn't think about it. But I remember my mother saying, Loni, you're almost 400 pounds. And that was one thing that stood, and I'm like, man, it's just sometimes you don't think about it. Sometimes it's just things get out of your hand, you just get comfortable. And I've always had a certain mentality. And that's when I really noticed the change was that I looked in the mirror and my physical self didn't match up with my mental self, if it's one way to say it. So I tried to make sure that my physical and my mental started matching, and I just did it one sip at a time. D-SIP plan, discipline, it's basically discipline. And little, people don't understand a lot of things were very small that I did. Like the first month I said, okay, I'm just going to drink a gallon of water every day. And the first month I lost 30 pounds.
Now, when you say drink a gallon of water, Loni, I looked at that gallon in the refrigerator and I put it right back in the refrigerator.
It's intimidating.
But what I learned from your book, The SIP Plan, was just take one sip every so often. And before you know it, that gallon is gone. If you don't look at it in a large object, and you look at it as smaller and just, little sip here, little sip there, it can be accomplished.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think for me also, I was a lot heavier. So I was supposed to probably drink over a gallon a day at that point, but just the fact that I even started with the gallon made a huge difference. And, I just cut out, I said, okay, I'm not going to drink any pop. I'm not, little juice. Pretty much, actually, you know what? I said, I'm going to drink water all day. Now, the way I started it was I did 2 cups of water before a meal and 2 cups of water after a meal.
Wow.
And yeah, I started there. And then next thing, my body was like, hey, we need this water. We need the water. We need, like,
so your body
after a
started
while, I didn't have
craving
the
the
same.
water.
Yeah, so it's exactly. So, before I knew it, I was already up to a gallon. I like the results. My skin was different. My digestive system was different. And it really played a big role into, people just don't understand water is a physical and mental cleanser. People kind of take water for granted sometimes, our body is over 80% water. So we need to replenish our body with what's in it. And so that helped out a lot. So I started there and then it just built it from there,
Wow. Now let's start here because so many people are saying that they gained COVID weight because they were indoors. That's the saying now. If you haven't heard, let me say it this way. That's the excuse now.
Yeah, look, I was like, oh, is it?
That's the excuse they're saying now. I gained COVID weight because they were indoors with nothing to do. They couldn't go outdoors, so all they were doing was staying indoors eating. That's what they're saying. Mm-hmm. So, like you said, and I think it's very important. The first thing you did was you had a realization and a reality check that, hey, I'm about to be at a number in weight that I don't want to get to. And that number was almost 400 pounds.
Yes.
I had a reality check at mine when I looked at the scale and it said 198. And I said, I don't want to get to that 200 pounds. Now, mind you, I was always in the 140s or 160s. But it doesn't matter that, like yours was 380, mine was 198, somebody else may be 140, whatever the number is, you don't want to get to that next higher number.
Right.
So you have to get your mental state ready to say, okay, I need to make a change because I don't want to be at this level.
Absolutely.
So I picked up your book again when I saw the scale say 198. And I said, hold on, no, I can't get, I don't want to see 200, no, unless it's in my bank account and it's got a few zeros after it.
I know that's right, exactly.
So I think it's important to let the people know that we have to make a mental state of, hey, we need to change, because once we do that, then the rest we'll be able to do. So you said that next step, once you make that mental state of, I need to make a physical change for my body and a healthy change, your next step, you would say, is to get the water, to start doing the water, to make water part of your routine. And
absolutely.
You do 2 cups before your meals now and 2 cups after your meal.
Yes.
Now, what a lot of people don't realize is when you say with a cup of water, we're only talking 8 ounces. Right? It's a cup. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. And that's the easy step.
Yeah.
Now tell me, how did you do this weight loss and lose the weight so much while being such a great cook?
Well, that's funny. I get that question a lot. It's funny. It ties into just like the water change. I had to change the food. So what I started doing was taking every month I took away one fast food place because of course I was open to any of them, So I said, okay, I'm gonna start with McDonald's this month. And the next month or two, I went to Burger King. And then the next month or two, I went to, let's say Taco Bell. So every few months I went, one by one and just cut out a fast food place completely.
Eliminate.
And once again, one step at a time. I didn't just say, okay, I'm going cold turkey. No, I never went cold turkey. So, and what you don't know, side note, it builds your mentality as well while you're doing this. And you realize, oh, okay, I didn't go to McDonald's 3 times last week. I only went 2 times. And then I'm like, oh, I only went 1 time. And then before you know it, you haven't went at all. And that's what you have to do. It's like you have to take it down that way. Then you don't get overwhelmed. You still allowing yourself a little bit of a treat. Then it got to the point where I just didn't even like it anyway. I'm like, okay, I don't even want to go there, you know? Like after a while, you're like, funny thing, because I am creative and I like working with food. I started manipulating some of the things in fast food and making it for myself. So
tell us about that.
So
how did that work?
Yeah, I think Taco Bell was probably one of my favorite places at one point.
Really?
So I said, you know what? Yeah, I'm thinking. So I said, okay, what am I going to do to make tacos? So instead of using a flour tortilla, I would use lettuce or a corn tortilla. I would use one single tortilla because most places use 2 corn. I started using 1 corn, or I would take iceberg lettuce and make that as my taco shell. Instead of the ground beef with the meat, I took a ground turkey. And I season the ground turkey with everything. I use salt last, but I would season it with, a low salt Cajun seasoning, chili powder. People forget other seasonings that have flavor. That we always thinking salt, and then you look in your cabinet, you have regular salt, you got granulated salt, garlic salt, you have onion salt, you have you've added salt on top of everything.
Everything.
So use granulated onion, granulated garlic, dark chili powder, cumin. So I started exploring more with other seasonings and realizing how much flavor food just has on its own. And the salt should just bring it out. It shouldn't be salty. It should just bring out those flavors. That's all salt is for, really.
Wow. Salt is to bring out the other seasonings that don't contain the salt. So,
right.
And then salt is also something that adds water weight to your body.
Absolutely.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we need to start switching out. Go in your cabinets, people, and pull out all those salts that are in there, and just leave 1 salt. Or maybe, like you say, you don't want to do anything extreme so fast. Maybe take 1 seasoning that has extra salt and put that aside, or throw it out or something, and replace it with something that's better, like a ground onion or ground garlic or something else that you said, cumin or something like that.
Right.
And there's several seasonings that we could try. I mean, the Indian people, I have some Indian friends, and they have so many different seasonings.
Oh man,
they use, and their food is amazing.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. We forget about peppers. We forget about, just real onions, real garlic. If you want to get into Hispanic cooking, you have burrito peppers, guajillo peppers, you have ancho peppers, you have, chilies. Then you going into the Indian, then you have the yogurt, you have the tandoori, the curry spice, all of those. I haven't mentioned salt yet, but I've just mentioned other flavor, other different flavors that would make your food taste that much better. So.
And I think a lot of times what we do when we start out cooking, and our families have even taught us, and it was wrong on some of our families' part that they did not teach us that there are several other ingredients out there. So the majority of the families, all they know is salt, pepper, and maybe some of them know a bottle of hot sauce.
Yeah.
So I think it is important that we start teaching people to explore these other seasonings that are out there. Yeah. So that we can start having our food have flavor and having some added, benefits to our bodies. My husband and I have learned that we use a lot of turmeric now in our food.
Oh, it's very good for you.
Yes, and we heard that turmeric is something that helps heal your body, cleanse your body. It's a very good thing to use for your body. So we started, researching and seeing what things are good for us, and started using some of those things. I want to talk about your book a little more, and I want people, I'm going to be putting in the description area how you can get her book. It's called The SIP Plan. D is for discipline, and you take it sip by sip. And what she has in here is really interesting because all of her chapters start with like acronyms that have the SIP, S-I-P, S-I-P. And here's one, like, SIP number 1, which is your chapter number 1, says, stay in prayer, which I love because, it takes a prayer life to do what's right.
That's right.
And I love that you started this off with this, but this book is really good. And look, and it's not thick. You don't have to worry about carrying around a huge book. It's simplified. It has so much information in here. And it's just amazing. I jotted down here, I highlighted this little section here. And it's in chapter 3, and it says, starting is popular. And I love that. And in chapter 2, it says self-improvement plan. Mm-hmm. This is our self-improvement plan. And one of the things I highlighted that you said in your book was, just remember, you're not a failure until you give up.
Yes.
I love that. I love that. Tell me a little bit about that, because there's a lot of us that we feel like we get on the scale and we lost a pound yesterday and the next day we gained 2 pounds. And we simply give up and go find that pound cake that we threw away in the trash.
Yeah. I know. You know, I was about to say, I know so many people like that. Again, it comes in 2 parts. You have to be mentally ready to kind of stay away from the scale a little bit, especially, you know, or at least do it once a week. I got obsessed to the point where, you know, I was doing it every day. And of course, your weight fluctuates every day. When you get up and walk around and drink water, your weight's going to go up naturally. It's going to go up and down naturally. So every day I weigh myself. I probably shouldn't do that, or anybody else. I don't advise them to do it, because you are going to get frustrated and you're going to say, you know what, don't worry about it. But if you put those pants on the next week or 2 and those same pants fit different, that matters a lot more than what the scale says, because you could have gained muscle. It could be some extra water on you. You could, you know, for women, you could be menstruating. You know, it could be a lot of different factors. You could have even had a long day at work and just been on your feet and your body swollen, you know, so there's a lot of different factors, and they're not always that you failed and you've just gained weight and messed everything up. So stop weighing yourself, stay off the scale. If you want to, weigh yourself every month and just stick to the plan, you know.
Stick to the plan.
Yeah. Only people that weigh themselves every day, I'll tell you what, if you're about to do a weight fitness competition, weigh yourself every day. But if you are just trying to lose weight and be a better person, weigh yourself every month. You do not have to do that.
Now speaking of fitness, in your book, you speak about all these things that we can do to control what we eat and so forth. But during this process of you losing the weight, you also began to do MMA boxing. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Yes.
So how did that come about?
Well, actually, when I got into martial arts, it was something I've always wanted to do, and I thought that it would help me mentally as a person. Before I even had the weight loss. You know, I was always kind of interested in it. And I didn't start doing it until I was 28 years old. And that's actually like senior citizen for the fight world. You know, that's not like, you know, that's like 28. Oh, you know, like most people start when they're kids. They've been doing it their whole life. But, you know, I didn't know how far it would take me or what it would do for me. But I just started and I kept going. And now it's become a part of my life. So you don't have to train to be a fighter. You don't have to, you know, compete. You don't have to do any of that, but just being in the gym and being in a community and around people that support you and want the best for you is well in itself. You know, I discovered that being in martial arts gyms, I've gained a lot of friends, great great family. You know, I've had great bonds with coaches, and these are people that want you to go in the right direction.
Exactly.
So, you know, so it's definitely bigger than just getting in the ring and fighting. That's probably the fun part. You know, the hard part and all the other stuff is what goes on in the gym, you know? So,
what would you say to someone who has family members, and I'm kind of speaking for myself, who has family members that when you say, hey, I'm on this diet, I'm on this new way of eating, I'm going to try and lose this weight. And every time you're around them, they want to give you the cake, the cookies, the pies, the pasta, the bread.
Oh, yeah, of course.
What recommendations would you give for someone like myself who's in that situation?
You know, couples are hard because trust me, I have that issue. Like sometimes I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm going to eat right. I'm like, hey, let's go get pizza. And you're like,
yeah.
Okay. You know,
and family like, members saying, come over for dinner. Family, come over for dinner.
Okay. Yeah. And then of course, if you turn them down, you know, it's like, that's the worst thing you can do, you know? Yeah, I understand. Trust me. You know, with that, it's like, you have to, that's the discipline again. You can go there and just, you know, I started substituting things a little bit. It is hard because our family, you know, because, you know, we got, you know, we eat, you know, we eat. So when you go there, instead of having, let's say they barbecue, we have ribs.
Yes.
You know, normally you probably, let's say you might eat 3 or 4. You know, cut it down to 1 or 2.
Okay.
Cut your portions. Try to substitute it. Hopefully they didn't put meat in everything, and I know we're guilty of that.
Yes.
You know, try to stick to more of the lighter things. You know, I got to the point where sometimes it frustrated people, but if they love you, they'll respect what you're doing. And once they see the difference, they'll start doing what you're doing too. So I started coming to the meals and bringing my own food. I'm like, okay, yeah, I would go to the family cookout and I would bring my own salad because, hey, I know they're not going to have the salad. And I would eat my whole salad first and then go eat maybe a piece of chicken or something. And they're like, wow. And I'm like, hey, but that's what I have to do. I mean, I would bring my yogurt, my all my stuff, I would bring it myself because, and then people, you know, at first they're like, oh, and then when they see the results and see that you're really sticking to it, they respect it because they love you, you know, and they want the best for you. So, you know, they might not understand at first, but just do it that way. I said, I got to.
I love that you did that because I don't eat pork. You know, I gave up pork years ago. And usually when we have cookouts, they have the ribs going. They've got the sausage going, and I can't eat that stuff for, you know, health reasons. I can't eat that stuff. So what I do is, like you said, I would bring me a piece of fish for them to put on the grill or something.
Exactly.
Like that. See, and they do respect it. They say, you know, Regina doesn't eat the pork, and so, you know, I'll bring my fish and stuff. And then, you know, later on, they would always make sure to have something other than pork. So like you said, once you start setting the example, then others will start following it. So and I like that you said, because your plan is easy for people to do, to lose weight, because you're doing things in small portions that's making big impacts. Like you said, when you go to the family barbecue, instead of eating 3 ribs or 4 ribs, just have 1 or 2. You're not saying cut it out altogether if you can't, but just cut it down until you can cut it out.
Exactly. There you go.
I love that.
Exactly.
I love that. So listen, this book is amazing. You all have to get it. It is simple. It is compact. I took this on the plane with me when we went down to Vegas the other day, and I went over and made sure that I put my little notes and everything in here. But it's a great tool for you and others, you know, for others to get, because it's going to help you. It's not, like you said, you don't mention any pills in here. You don't mention any surgeries. You don't even mention big weight loss or stuff like that. You simply mention to do steps small so that they can become great and the weight can come off, even with the great cooking that you do. Right? Listen, this has been a short, brief video. We are going to have Miss Chef Loni on again, because I want us to do I want you to show us some of the foods that you cook. Like you said, instead of going to Taco Bell and getting the taco, you do the lettuce thing and so forth. I had planned to have some of your recipes up here, not your recipes, but the pictures of your food up here, because it is amazing. But you can find her information on her IG page. She's also on Facebook. Her IG has some beautiful photos of food that she actually made, delicious food. And you can find more information about Chef Loni on her Facebook and her IG page. Let me tell you, and besides her being such a great MMA boxer, she is a great chef. She's in Texas. Hit her up in Texas. If there's any information you wanted to share, Loni, let me know. Like, where can they find you? Where can they come and eat some of that great food?
Yes. So right now I'm working on a business called Meal and Grace. And it's also, I have a branch off of Meal and Grace Fit, where I do package meals and I make them fresh. I seal them, airtight seal them, and then I freeze them. I'm working on the shipping, so bear with me, people, please. But I'm working on the shipping. But as of right now, I have a combination of home style meals that are, and everything is made from scratch. And then I have the fit meals that are, you know, less salt, a little less, what does it say, portion size. They're smaller in portion size. And then I have the other side where I have the oxtails and the mac and cheese. But again, made from scratch. So it's still better for you than what you would buy. And then the other side, I got my sweet potato, white bean soup. I got, I have the, so I have a little bit for everybody. So I'm working on that one. Yes, thank you so much. And that one's been going really well. So, also I wanted to.
We can get your meal and grace, and we can get your meal and grace. You have the meal and grace where you can, if you're in the local area, you can have that for them.
Yes, in Houston, Texas. Yes.
Houston, Texas. And you were saying something previously?
I was just going to say, I have to give a lot of love and respect to my mother because she's helped me a lot with everything. Everything I do, my mother, has a footprint in it somewhere. So the book, that she was on the editing and, getting it made. And so, Rosalind Grace, love you. Thank you, Mom, for everything. Just wanted to say that also.
Auntie is so talented.
She is so talented.
Let me tell you, she is so talented. Besides beautiful, she is, she's a talented person. Let me tell you, Loni, I don't know if they could see this picture, but look at this. Look at this.
Yep,
What?
Yeah.
Amazing. And yes, and she went from, and if you look here, I'll show this for you all can see before and after. So to see this is real. This is real. And she went from that and she's now, look, this is.
Yep. I'm about 20 pounds off from that now, but I'm working on it again. That's when I'm competing and really, going every, but, I have, life gets in the way. I got to work and I have to balance that. So yeah, I'm on a new little journey. Yeah.
But you know what? You have inspired so many people. And like I said, when I felt myself in the weight, if we don't watch the weight, it will creep up on you. And before you know it, you jump on that scale and you think somebody's standing on the back of it. And it's all you.
You're like, oh, no, oh, yeah.
And I'm looking around like, is my husband standing on this scale with me?
Yep.
But we have to get to a point where we should not be looking at trying to do the surgeries if we can not do that, because some of these surgeries can be life-threatening. Some people have passed away from doing some of these surgeries. And the pills can be damaging to your bodies, your organs. So to do this the natural way, like you specify in your book, is something that I recommend everybody do.
Yes.
I'm going to put the information in the description of how you can get her book. This is a great book. Start the process off slow. Like Chef Loni said, don't try and just dive in and do it all. Do it like she said, her book says, one sip at a time, one step at a time. Just learn to just cut out a little bit until you can cut out all of it. I love the idea that you also said about giving up at least one of the restaurants, the fast food restaurants at a time until you can cut them out. And then like Chef Loni also said, if you like the food so much, and some of these fast food restaurants, find ways that you can create those same or similar type foods that are better for you in your own kitchen, at your own home. Set up something like that in your own home to do that, and cut out the salt. And and there's one other thing in here that I wanted to share with everybody, and I think is very important. You have a slogan in here where you say, sugar is poison.
Yes.
Sugar is poison. When I look at that and everything, and that sticks in your head, that sugar is poison. Tell us a little bit about that saying, the sugar is poison.
Well, what people don't realize is that sugar is more addictive than cocaine.
Wow.
We can start there.
Wow.
Sugar is more addictive than cocaine. And unfortunately, we have found ways to incorporate sugar in a lot of things, and things that don't even have to have sugar. Sometimes I look at the label and I'm like, you didn't even have to put sugar in there. It's like they purposely just went back and put it in there just to make sure it's in, like I said, there's a lot of natural sweetness in food, like sweet potatoes, carrots, things like that have natural sweeteners. If you
Right.
cook with those, try to use more like local honeys, agave nectar. The local has to do with a lot with your body because you're consuming the things that are in your environment. Whereas if I get it from New York, you know, I'm in Texas. New York doesn't have the same environment that I have here in Texas.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
that's
So,
interesting.
right. And actually, you know, Chef Vigo, he makes his own honey. You know, want to say hi to him. He has his own honey farm, and it's 10 acres honey, I believe it's called, but it's also on my Instagram at Chef Loni, and you can follow me or him on there as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, the processed sugar and all, you know, it's not. I mean, it's not the sugar cane, you know, just try to stay away from that as much as possible and try to use more natural sweeteners if you need them at all.
Yes. And Chef, we're going to put in here, I'm going to put in here in the chat where they can find you on your Instagram and your Facebook so they can follow you as well. And also follow on Facebook. I'm putting you on Facebook, and also follow the other gentleman you said that has a farm, because I've seen him on Instagram as well, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, we work together a little bit, and he does have a farm. He has his own bees. You know, so he gets honey, you know, when it's very natural. It's amazing. You know, one batch of honey he had, it tastes like passion fruit and honey. I don't even know how it happened, but it was a taste of honey I've never experienced before.
Wow.
So yes. So
would you suggest that people try and find more local farmers and people that are local to get their groceries and stuff from? I mean, with what they can get instead of
you know, I understand. You know, I shop at the grocery store too. The outside is better than the inside. So the outskirt of the grocery store.
That. There you go. Yeah, explain that, because I heard. I don't want to cut you off, but I think of that when I go in the store because I heard LL Cool J say that. LL Cool J say that. So say that again.
The outside is better than the inside. So when you get to those individual rows of food, you might want to read the label a little more. When you're on the outside, you have your yogurts, you have your dairy, you have your more natural things to cook with, your meats. Everything is always on the outside. But then when you go on the inside, look at things like how can Hawaiian Punch and Red Bull be in the same aisle? You know, people are like, oh, this doesn't have sugar. Okay, but it's sitting next to Sunkist. You know, so something. They're not putting, you know, people, they have a strategy to this. They're not just putting random things on the shelf. There's a method to their madness. That's why it's on there. So yes, if you have to look at it again, double check what's around it. And you know what? That's a life lesson for us as people and a grocery store. Check your surroundings. You know, oh, okay, this looks good. Okay, well, what's next to it?
That's right. You know, check your surroundings.
Yes, check your surroundings in the grocery. What's next to it? If eggs or milk or dairy isn't next to it, and you see it's probably just as bad.
Wow. So when people have to understand is, just like Chef Loni said, and remember, she went from almost 400 pounds and she lost 200 pounds to like was 160. Let me tell you, and when I said that, when you said shop the outside, I remember LL Cool J speaking of that, and they were talking about how does he stay so fit? You know, and he's fine as all outdoors. My husband understands. He's just fine as all outdoors. But I remember him saying that, and he said when he goes in a grocery store, he never goes on the inside out. He always shops on the outside. And he explained when you walk in, you shop on the walls, and there you have, like you said, your dairy, your produce, and stuff like that. You don't find any of that stuff. And so I did that one day. I walked in the store and I walked on the outside and I could see what he was talking about. And then I walked down each of the aisles, and then I was like, oh my gosh, what are we doing to our bodies? What are we doing? And it does make you realize and wake up to, like you said, there's a strategy to what people are doing in these aisles. They even have the organic section that's near the outside aisles. It's usually always by the produce section, the organic section. You will find it over near the produce section as well. I love this. Loni, you know I love you. One of my favorite. I
love you too, cuz.
And my little Isis back there. Thank you for taking time out of your super busy schedule.
Oh, thank you, cuz. So I can't wait to come back.
Yes, listen, we're gonna get together. We're gonna have family get together. We're gonna do all that. So I know that COVID stopped a lot of stuff, but things are opening back up. People are getting things taken care of, and they're being a lot more wise about being clean and everything. That's one thing I'm glad about COVID. It did teach people to get back to being very clean. And as a chef,
Yes.
you understand too, because chefs wash their hands like 1,000 times a day.
Oh yes. Yeah.
So, and for people to understand that this is just something that we have to start doing, keeping our surroundings clean, keeping our areas clean and all that. That's one thing that I am grateful that COVID made people aware of. But, the other sad part of it is, the lives that were lost. But
right.
There was some good that we've learned. Let's get back to being clean.
Yes. And, I will say when COVID, just one little quick thing, when COVID happened, the first thing I said was, I'm not going to sit in this house. So I made myself get up and run every day. Wow. I started with 1 mile, and then next thing I knew, I was running 5 miles every day. See, just waking up and doing it. I didn't even think about it. I'm like, I have nothing to do today. The least I can do is do something for myself. So when I come out of this, I'm going to make sure I'm still, and before I knew it, I was right back to work, and it didn't even feel bad or anything, because I was already used to getting up and moving around.
And I think that's what we have to realize that we want to do too. If you want to lose weight, sitting on the sofa is not going to help you lose the weight.
No.
You have got to get up and you've got to change your routine. If you want to change, you have to do something to make the change. And that's what my husband and I started doing. We said, well, we can't run. We used to run before. And we were at Auntie's house one day, and your mom, Auntie Ra's house, and we ran, 5 miles, and we did really good. And then we came back, and we didn't do it as much. And it got to us, and we were like, man, if we would have kept up the routine back then, we wouldn't be in this, situation now. So now what we do is we go for our walks. We do 2.5 miles in the morning, and then 2.5 miles in the evening. Nice. And all it is just a simple walk around 3 of the neighborhoods that we're here. We go outside of the neighborhood, because when we go outside the neighborhood, go to the other neighborhood on the other side, we have to get back.
Yeah,
we do exactly. That. Instead of just walking in your cul-de-sac and you can see your front door, we walk far enough away where we have to come back.
Yep, you have the right idea. That's exactly how you do it. Exactly.
Right. So I want to thank you again, Loni, for being on here. And Clovis and I are going to be in Texas real soon. We're planning some stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we're definitely going to let you know. We're back to flying and everything, getting back out there.
Nice.
And we're going to come out and visit you and Isis and your girlfriend. What is her name again? I forgot her name again.
Her name is Macy Mack, and she's actually a stylist. She does thrifting and styling people. So maybe you can interview her later too.
I will. Yes, I will do that. Auntie Roz loves her. Auntie Roz, like, she's so cool. I'm like, yes. But the best one in the whole house is Isis.
Wait, let me see if I can get Isis.
Isis is the best one. Where's my Isis?
Yeah, there she is. Like,
look at her.
She's chilling, right? Look. Say hi, baby.
I love Isis. Isis, what are you doing? Listen,
she said, I'm relaxing.
Isis doesn't have a problem with weight loss. She don't have no problem with weight loss. She looks sexy all the time.
All the time. Like, she said, I woke up with this.
I love her. I love her. Loni, I love you again. I thank you
love
again
you too,
for taking time out your busy day. And we're going to have you on again. And I'm going to put the information in the link here. I apologize for the stuff not wanting to work, but we were both determined to get this out here. We got it up. I will upload it, and now I'll hit you in the link so that you can share it as well. And again, thank you so much.
Thank you, cuz I appreciate you.
Thank you. Let me tell you, get the book. I'm going to put it in the link. It's a simple book. Look, real thin. You can read it in a day, and it's going to give you so much information. One sip at a time. Small, simple, easy process. Very easy. Thanks again, Loni. I love you.
Thank you, cuz. Love you too.
I love you. And we will be in touch.
Absolutely. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I have a great day off.
Thank you, cuz you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'm excited for your show.
Thank you so much. We're praying for it.
It's gonna be great.
Thank you so much. And we're going to have you on again because we're doing something. Actually, you might want to join us in June. I know we're still filming, but you might want to join us in June. We are going to have something really special in June, but I'll tell you off air. But
Okay. Awesome.
It's going to be great. It's going to be so great. All right. Hold on one second. All right. I'm going to end the recording. All right.